It's always a sign of surefire faith when Tom Hardy, Venom, Eddie Brock himself going out there going, my favorite parts, nowhere to be seen.
You ain't gonna see that shit anytime soon.
The best parts of this movie are not available at your local theater October 5th.
What's a good reason to go see it? To build up anticipation for when those scenes finally drop on the DVD extras menu.
Hey Reject Nation, it's Greg Alba.
And I'm John.
We have some movie news, things to talk about. We're going to talk about Jake Gyllenhaal kind of looking like Mysterio. We're going to talk about some more better Venom news.
Venom!
Let's start off with the Spider-Man bit of footage here. They've released set photos of Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio, where he looks exactly like he belongs in Asgard.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He does. Like from afar, especially, his armor looks just like their chest plates.
And the cape. You got to take this with, screw that. Don't take it with a grain of salt. This is 100% accurate. I love videos that do commentary on these kind of pictures because, you got to take it 100% literal that this is what the final look will actually be.
Oh yeah, this is the complete context.
This is everything that you need to see. I mean,
those wires are going to be in the shot.
They're not going to CGI enhance any of the costume department. I'll be honest though, when I first saw this, I was like, okay, that looks all right. But then thinking about it, if you're going to adapt the Mysterio costume into a real life movie, this is actually not too bad of an idea right here. You're going to want to see photos of Jake Gyllenhaal without the mask on, the fishbowl helmet. What we're getting here in terms of just the costume design, it's not bad. I was expecting something a lot greener. Maybe in the actual post-production, they're going to really green that bad boy up.
Yeah.
But what we're getting right now, it looks like a struggling special effects artist, which is...
who broke into the wardrobe department.
Yeah, it looks like that to me. And we did a video a while back about Mysterio being in Spider-Man Homecoming 2 or Far From Home. I expressed a lot of thoughts about how I'm kind of hoping for something a little bit more meta references that are a little bit of a commentary on comic book movies. Thinking about it too with Peter Parker of that beginning of Homecoming with him vlogging, sort of breaking the fourth wall with what this movie is, and then someone who's really into pop culture, with all the Star Wars references, the geeky side of him. This could work really well. It could be a really fun villain for Jake Gyllenhaal to do. And looking at this outfit, it seems like it's on that track. I'm hoping it has a sense of humor about the outfit. Yeah.
My hope is that the movie actually opens up with Mysterio recording a vlog of his own just from inside the helmet, because that would be really easy. You have like a little front-facing camera. I mean, you've got some of the earmarks of the classic. The first thing I noticed I looked for was the clasps that look like eyes, for his cape and stuff like that. Reading up on this makes me curious about what approach they're going to take ultimately, because there's been speculation about, we don't know if these photos are going to be CG'd later, if they're going to borrow from the Ultimate Spider-Man version, because that's a very different version of the character. He doesn't have the fishbowl helmet even. Yeah. I guess this is making me excited to just see which direction they decide to take it in.
I expected fishbowl helmet because look at the rest of the outfit.
Yeah, no, for sure. It seems like they kind of take bits from column A, bits from column B, and kind of mash them together.
If I had a criticism that I feel could be a little more warranted here, you do gotta take these with a grain of salt. You never know what it's actually going to look like when you see an actual trailer even. Oh, that actually looks a lot better. I'm not a fan of the fact that Jake Gyllenhaal looks really good looking.
I know. He looks so well groomed.
Because if you've seen Mysterio, Quentin Beck, in most versions, I don't recall a version where he looks as handsome as that guy right there.
Why are you so mad?
Because I was excited for Jake Gyllenhaal going a little bit creepy looking again. That looks like Jake Gyllenhaal in an interview to me. Really good hair and beard. Maybe that's part of some wardrobe thing he's got going on. Maybe he's in some makeup design. I was looking forward to Jake Gyllenhaal having some bad haircut and looking more like the Nightcrawler Jake Gyllenhaal. Something that's oh, you look creepy. That's why this looks very Asgardian to me. You look like a superhero.
You look perfectly coiffed.
Yeah. I'm kind of speculating that maybe he starts off looking more like the Quentin Beck that I'm more familiar with. I remember in the 90s animated show when Mysterio appears, he's framing Spider-Man and all these things. Maybe this is all part of his new do to make himself appear like he's a hero, for all I know. Because that would work, and that context if this is Quentin Beck throughout the whole film. It's looking forward more to a less great-looking Jake Gyllenhaal.
Maybe these pictures are just after a point in the movie where he gets a major boost of confidence. He's feeling a lot better about himself because he's got this newfound status. Everyone's afraid of him, so he's like, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna finally brush my hair and look good for the job."
But yeah, I mean, it's a cool photo. Glad we could see it. Can't wait for the official trailer. Yeah. But let's move on to the news I really want to talk about here. The Venom news just keeps getting better, and I'm telling you guys, I've said it in a couple of videos now. At best, this movie is going to be entertainingly cheesy. In LA, I don't know what other parts of the world are like with Venom.
All right, have it your own way.
But in LA, I am constantly bumping into people who are like, I don't know about that movie, man. It's probably going to be bad. It's going to suck. And I always end the conversation with, I cannot wait to watch this movie.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just so curious to find out what this film is going to be like. If it's entertainingly cheesy or entertainingly bad, I'm all for it. I've always thought the idea of this movie sounded strange from the get-go. So there's already a weird quote that has sort of been taken out of context from director Ruben Fleischer that said way back in September 2018, when he was asking about a director's cut, he said, I wouldn't rule anything out. We'll have to see where it lands, I guess, but I wouldn't rule anything out. So a lot of people have taken that as, he's really planning a director's
Fleischer cut!
Yeah.
The Fleischer cut!
But that's not what he's saying here.
He's just saying he wouldn't not do it.
Then you got this Tom Hardy quote here, which I love. He's talking to Comic Books Explain. Just make me want to see this movie so much more. He was asked what his favorite moments in the movie are, and he says, there's scenes that aren't in this movie. There are like 30 to 40 minutes worth of scenes that aren't in this movie. All of them. Mad puppeteering scenes, dark comedy scenes, you know what I mean? They just never made it in. It's always a sign of surefire faith. When Tom Hardy, Venom, Eddie Brock himself going out there going, my favorite parts, nowhere to be seen.
You ain't gonna see that shit anytime soon.
The best parts of this movie are not available at your local theater October 5th.
What's a good reason to go see it? To build up anticipation for when those scenes finally drop on the DVD extras menu, which is great home video marketing.
See, I don't know how much this coincides with them switching from R-rated to PG-13. I know Ruben Fleischer originally wanted to make it R-rated, but then, he came out with some other quote. I feel like the director especially has gotten flack from the studio from, like, this is just my guess. There's obviously no sources confirming this. He says some shit that gets him in trouble. Amy Pascal shows up and is like, hey, save face. And then he has to come out and be like, no, we didn't make it PG-13 to try to get Venom in the MCU.
You started this mess. Don't make me your flunky to get you out of it.
Yeah, I don't know how much whatever they cut, because every movie goes through reshoots, especially the big ones, and I know this movie went through a lot of extensive reshoots as well.
It seems like they tried to change something fundamental about this movie at some point. I don't know, like there's small things you can remove to make a PG-13, like an R into a PG-13, but just the vibe I've gotten off of all this news, plus the aggressive amount of advertising they've done, especially riding on things that we heard about from Comic-Con, and then not showing them completely, like, Venom bites a guy's head off, but he doesn't really,
Yeah, I want to see Venom not bite people's heads off, but a lot of implications that he's biting people's heads off.
I'm like, yeah, I get it. Don't show us imagination's better. That works great for horror movies, but when you're bringing Venom to life again and making up for the last time that no one was satisfied with, I think we want to see some of those extreme elements. So yeah, I don't know. I just wondered what inspired that decision, if it was anything other than, yeah, let's get him in the MCU.
I don't know. It doesn't matter at this point.
I mean, those are some of my favorite movie-going experiences, is like you said, when you're like, I don't know what this is going to be like at all.
Yeah.
I can't wait to find out.
Hey, I like a lot of movies that people don't like simply because of how schlocky or cheesy they are.
My trepidation is that the last 2 times I've felt this way, I walked out of those movies really not having had fun. And that was The Meg, and that was Jurassic World 2.
Well, this story with Tom Hardy reminds me a lot of Jason Statham with The Meg, because he had a whole interview too. If you look at what both Tom Hardy and Jason Statham are saying about these movies that arguably would have worked better off of an R rating and had a lot more fun and excitement that could probably be backed by an R rating. They both are saying things that are essentially boiling down to, I signed up for a movie, and then now watching the movie, it wasn't the movie I signed up for. And that's what both of them are saying. Who knows, man? I think that this could be a really interesting time at the theaters. We're going to do a movie review, most likely a spoiler talk of the movie as well. I just don't know who this movie will satisfy, because
I don't know who it's trying to satisfy.
it's like, you know, to do a Venom origin tale without Spider-Man, and then people come in going, but you know, Venom does get his own comics where he becomes a protagonist. And then I go, yeah, but Venom's whole origin was originally a very big villain, and the whole point of him becoming a protagonist was a path of redemption from all the villainy activities he had. You know?
You might think that if we're going to star him in a movie, you would want some of that history to inform this. But that's just a spitball.
That's just, you know, it sounds like they've really twisted and altered this whole thing. But hey, we'll find out this coming weekend, right? Oh, not this week. This weekend. This week.
Oh boy, that's right. Thursday night on the dot.
Well, what do you think of this news? Are you more excited for Jake Gyllenhaal to play great-looking Quentin Beck, or are you more excited for a movie that Tom Hardy is obviously disappointed in its outcome for? Subscribe to the Reject Nation. Click that notification bell, because subscribe buttons suck. And you can check us on Patreon. We got TV show reactions, Q&As, a whole bunch of posts going up there usually every day. We'd love to have you become a Patron Jack.